I'm not saying that I want to subtract our commitment to other European capitals and our European work, because that is obviously vital. And that 44% of our trade is with the EU, and it's colossally important. But there are opportunities, and I meant what I said earlier about the enthusiasm of the people at the FCA. I think they really see this, and they want to do it, and they see an opportunity here.
So I assume you agree with me that the Commonwealth flag should fly from British embassies and high commissions around the world as we remove the European flag.
Let's see, 53.
Sorry, you're okay, Mr. Rosendale. You're testing my sigillography here. Or vexillography, I think is the word I want. The flag of the Commonwealth. I don't think I'm going to make any particular commitments about the flag of the Commonwealth.
You're happy for it to fly from embassies and high commissions?
As soon as somebody can identify it to me, I'll be very happy. Exactly. Okay. I'm going to have to own up, Mr. Rosendale. I'm unaware of the exact configuration of the Commonwealth flag, but there you go.
Okay. Moving on.
What does it look like?
Parts of the...
That's my drawing.
That's a very good drawing. Okay, well that's a lovely flag. It looks like a lovely. Wait! It looks like a lovely flag, Mr. Rosendale. But I'm not going to commit. I'm not going to commit now to flying it.
Could you check that one out and come back to us if that's possible? Yes, would you?
Right.
Oh, that's helpful.
Thank you.
Right, if you could come back on that particular point, if that's okay, Foreign Secretary. Could I move on now to the next item? Apart from the Commonwealth, the United Kingdom actually has sovereign power over 21 territories and dependencies, of which 16 of which your department is directly responsible for, one of which is Gibraltar. They are, of course, particularly affected by us leaving the European Union. Can we expect a bit more bulldog spirit now in dealing with Madrid? Can we have a more robust stance in tackling the way Spain has treated Gibraltar, or are we going to continue with the Foreign Office line of effectively diplomatic pussyfooting, which allows Spain to continue to think that they might one day achieve their wish of claiming the rock under the Spanish flag?
You are going to see a completely implacable Marmorian and rock-like resistance on the part of this government to any such claim, and we see no justification in law for that claim. On the other hand, obviously, we see no particular reason to be in any way difficult with our friends in Madrid. If they can raise it with us, and we simply make our points politely but firmly. And I think of I remember if you remember when I think the Spanish foreign minister raised it with me, and I felt that, you remember Marlon Brando in The Godfather, he said, I'm Mr. Barzini, I must tell you I'm sorry, my answer is no. And that was the...
But Foreign Secretary, if they do get difficult, and they have become difficult, they've done some things that have made the lives of Gibraltarians pretty bad over the years, can we expect a thoroughly robust response from now on, rather than effectively diplomatically pushing the issue into the long grass?
Well, I think we've been very clear that we see no grounds whatever for any change to the sovereignty of Gibraltar. The people of Gibraltar, I think by 98.5%, support the status quo, and the status quo is going to remain.
And would you welcome a possibility of a visit to Gibraltar by Her Majesty the Queen? She's not been for over 50 years. People of Gibraltar have asked repeatedly over the last 5 to 6 decades that their Queen visit Gibraltar, but for some reason Foreign Office have never seemed to recommend that to Her Majesty. Would you make a change of policy on that issue?
Well, I'm more than happy to consult the Foreign Office, indeed the Palace, about this. I don't know the thinking behind Her Majesty's itinerary, but obviously a lot of people want Her Majesty to go to a lot of places at the moment. She's much in demand across the world, as you can imagine, and I think we have to be careful about issuing promises.
Could I also commend you, Foreign Secretary, on your well-known robust stance in terms of supporting self-determination for all the peoples of former British colonies, particularly British overseas territories, Gibraltar, of course, and the Falkland Islands and others that you've consistently spoken up in favour of self-determination. Can I just confirm that that is your view today, that is the view of the British government, that all peoples of all former British colonies should have the absolute right of self-determination?
Of course, that is our view, and if you look at what's happening in the Falklands and our relations with Argentina, in fact, there's we have to be careful, but I think there's the relationship with Buenos Aires is actually improving simply because we're parking the Falklands.
Self-determination is the principle, it's the people themselves.
It's the people themselves.
So that includes Gibraltar, the Falklands. Would that include Norfolk Island as well?
I can't remember what the views of the people at Norfolk Island are,
but their views. Would their views be equally as respected as people of the Falkland Islands, to give an example?
We have no intention of changing government policy towards Norfolk Island or its people, and I'm sure their rights will be protected.
So self-determination you support for Norfolk Island?
I support self-determination generally as a principle.
How about for the Chagos Islands? Of course, that's a British overseas territory. Their people should have the same rights as the other overseas territories. Would you?
What are they talking about now? I just wanted to hear him speak. Quite an important player in the Brexit negotiations, so it's a little bit crazy. Respect his hair though. Alright, so we had a bit of action in the Asian session today. Usually you don't get much action in Asia. We've got a relatively large move on the back of some weak Chinese data. So the main way it came through was in a big correction in the dollar yen. I view that mainly as a buying opportunity. So I have bought more on this dip. We were going gangbusters, and then Chinese trade balance came out, showed weak exports, yields collapse from the US. Right, so it's a lot of yield stuff going on in the market. You got to pay attention to this, boys. The 10-year yield dropped from 1.77 down to 1.73. That's enough to get this market correcting, and it did. Eventually found support, bounced along a little bit. Now it's resuming its uptrend quite nicely, and hopefully we do continue that. Stock's under a little bit of pressure going into Europe. Perhaps a little bit of overflow from that Chinese data. In the past, though, the US session has ignored Chinese data. This sort of Chinese data, though, the size of the miss and the size of the year-on-year export drop, around 10% in US dollar terms, is fairly significant and does sort of indicate that global growth is dropping. All right, that's why you got the yields change, because it's basically saying that it gives the option for the Fed not to raise rates, or if data does, start to weaken, perhaps it's not such a locked deal December. And going into yesterday, it was a locked deal, so that's why we've seen some tempering of the US dollar. Didn't do enough to save the euro though. We got a little rally off that 110 level with the Chinese data, but then the market, its gravity seems to be on this pair. We broke below 110. No follow through just yet, but definitely a good sign here for the bulls, and it fits with the US dollar strength theme. Aussie dollar's obviously hit on the back of that data. Chinese data hits Aussie worse than most, and sort of cuts the legs out of it. We are coming up to some support though. So 75 has been pretty big in the past, and 74.50 is the low from last month, so that's the sort of levels you're going to be looking at if we do get a bigger pullback. If we can get underneath 74.50, we can talk more bearishly, but I would definitely be a little hesitant to do that, given the fickle nature of the market lately. And I mean, just today you saw the fickle nature. The reversal on the US dollar predictions is substantial. Pretty important is the US reaction tonight, right? If US want to play follow through and we see the Dow back below 18,000, we'll be having a different discussion tomorrow. Yeah, Boris is a bit of a clown, but he's entertaining, so I don't mind watching him. Just hearing what he has to say. Now, so long dollar yen, long is dollar Swiss are the two main trades we're in. They're doing fine. Took a little profit there on the dollar Swiss, on one of the dollar yens earlier, luckily, at the highs. So we did get better entry there. Aussie Kiwi stalling at the main resistance. Alright, that's enough for me to take profit. I don't I want to play against that. That's enough of a sign there to close out. Dollar Mexican though looking pretty nice. More and more scandals coming out with Trump, so that trade looks like a winner. Hopefully we do get to see that push through lower in the next couple of days. A little bit of buying today, but mainly on the US dollar strength probably. Emerging markets always get crunched. Seeing some follow through buying on the Turkish lira today. Euro Swiss. Only looking at the Turkish lira because a couple of my clients are trading it. And what was that noise? What was that noise? Did I just buy something? No. Turkish lira is starting to weaken again, and so you're seeing that nice little push. Let's have a look at the dollar lira. I think it's a bit clearer there. Yeah, so dollar lira showing that bust above 3. So fresh highs there on that cycle. Interesting stuff there is how high I can get. I mean, they really, since the coup, have had a lack of political certainty, and also some sort of clampdown going on. Investors don't like that sort of moves. So it could be substantial more going on. Monthly chart, I don't know how far we've been back. This data doesn't come through on that. I would have to go back and see if there's any resistance coming through from, say, 2008. But yeah, I'm in buy the dip mode on equities, buy the dip mode on dollar yen. That's the main way I'm going to be playing next couple of days. Big data tomorrow night. US retail sales and Yellen and Carney. Okay, so have a little look at next 24 hours. Got Carney, got Yellen after the US retail sales tomorrow. So that, if you remember what we were talking about last night, we were talking about the Fed having to telegraph that they're going to raise rates and that they're going to probably do it forcefully, so the market is in no two minds about it, so that starts to price it in, and so it's not a shock and it's not a debate. And if they do that, then it'll be a nice little run up for the US dollar in the coming month, not so much when they actually do raise rates. You know, the market moves once the confirmations are priced in. There's a fire station about 2 blocks away. So yeah, it's not a police car, guys. Crazy kids. Oil had a pullback back to the 50. Yeah, so that's making dollar CAD in play. I'm still pretty much US dollar bull, but probably better ways to play it than long dollar CAD. The long dollar CAD is a little bit dangerous. There's definitely smarter ways to play the market at the moment. Better risk rewards in that regard. Kiwis are pressuring down on the downside with the Aussie. 70 cents is coming up. That's a pretty big level, just psychological. Now, if we can get past that, then we can talk some more downside here towards that 200-day moving average. Now, that is coming in around 69.50. So that's a pretty big target there, just generally for bears. But we talked also about potentially looking for buy opportunities in this pair, especially if we get any sort of indication that they're not going to cut rates. Fair bit is priced in, still highest yielder in the out there. So yeah, it's getting sold off now, but this is how it rolls, right? Gets sold off, then rallies. If there's no stock market weakness, then it's very hard to keep this bad boy down. Selling Aussie is fine on rallies. Pound is a little more tricky. I suspect we might test 120, 118 before, putting a more serious floor in, but it's all hedge line driven, so and also US dollar strength is dragging on this pair, so it is hard. The euro dollar is underneath 110, dollar yen strong. US dollar is just going to be, in general terms, US dollar will be pressuring this, let alone the uncertainty. So it's just hard to have a sustained short squeeze on this pair without a really big piece of stimulus there to come out. We had a mini short squeeze yesterday. Didn't get any follow through though, okay, because actually the news wasn't that big a deal. So we need more than that, right? We need more than that, and then we can get that nice move. Let's have a look at a couple of the trade ideas from early in the day. Got a long on the Kiwi, don't mind it. Put his stop at what? What is he doing? Oh, he's buying below 70. Okay. Putting stop below the 200-day moving average. Okay, not bad. Targeting just a nice, decent rebound. Yeah, that's good. I don't mind that. Don't mind that, Zaz. Get a little like for that. Seems to be a high probability. Just check what's going on when the market's crashing there. You want to see some sort of buying before you get involved. The euro dollar looking to sell rallies. Sure, that's fine. Oh, no, you're not looking to sell rallies. You're looking to buy this dip. Okay. Alright. There's safer trades out there than that. Why are we buying? It's just short covering or what? Alright, if you see support down there, yeah, maybe. You're Aussie long. Ooh. It's a battle of the two bears there. Yeah, not clear on that one. Aussie short. Yeah, I like that trade. I like that trade. Just seems like there's nothing out there that can help this Aussie at the moment. You need some pretty serious negative US dollar and a dovish yen to let the Aussie have a nice little rally into the weekend. Could happen, but yeah, I'm more on the side that it's not going to happen. And classes put it. Alright, short. Long. Okay, you usually don't do the opposite like that. And then long. Look, gold had a nice little rally in Asia. Whether we get a follow through going into Europe, gold's very susceptible to the change in US yields and expectations there. So you probably would have seen that peter out in the last couple hours. You did. Yeah, it's pretty dangerous to go against the trend. I mean, I understand just the short squeeze there, but what are we doing? What are we going for here? It's 1270 or something. What's your target there, mate? What is it? 1240 stop, 1280. It's a 1-to-1 risk reward against the trend. Might leave that one. No one's buying dollar yen today. Hey, No one likes money. No one likes the monies. What do we have there? The Euro Swiss. Yeah, man, I always watch Euro Swiss because it's so important for the pound Swiss. So the Euro Swiss is, you watch the Euro Swiss, see the levels at that you're looking to get involved in the pound Swiss or the Euro pound shorts. So remember, you can either go pound Swiss long or Euro pound short, and the difference between the two is just the Euro Swiss, and wherever Euro Swiss is inside its range is how you play it. So in this particular market, straight Euro pound short seems better because the pound Swiss, the Euro Swiss is under a little bit of pressure. But say we were in a different sort of structure, and the Swiss was on the back foot, then I wouldn't mind being long the pound Swiss rather than being short the Euro pound. So yeah, that's the main reason I watch the Euro Swiss, and also obviously we used to trade that range a fair bit. We can actually put in a little buy order, a little bit low. Just try to keep on playing that range. We did like 6 or 7 of them back here. Okay, we got the crude oil inventories tonight. Well, they delayed. The US bank holiday delayed them a day, huh? Yeah, I suppose that's going to be critical. The oil's been enjoying a nice little rally, so we've had a pullback and it's back at a critical level. So if it does break through, that would get the bears out again, and that will have direct impact on all your guys' Canadian dollar trading. So yeah, you got to be staying up to watch that one tonight. Because of the daylight savings changes, it's a little later than usual for me. We're not getting that out until 1 o'clock in the morning, Sydney time. So, oh dear, don't think I can do it. Don't think I can do it, Captain. Actually, it's 2 o'clock Sydney time, 2 a.m. daylight savings. So yeah, no, I'm not going to be an oil crude US crude inventories watcher anymore. It's a little bit too late for relative specific data there. That's not something I need to look at for the majority of my trades. So I think it's just continue with the same theme we've been having, guys. There's no reason to change it. If the US get ultra bearish and we do see the yield slump even sharper and not bought back up, then perhaps we can get a little bit more bearish than we currently are, and step to the side on the dollar yen longs. But it seems early to me to be changing that course, and I would like to have some US dollar exposure into Yellen if she does, make it clear that they're going to raise rates in December. Just make a check. Actually, I haven't checked if it's the sort of speech where she would do that. I mean, I expect it to happen in the next few weeks from a host of different Fed speakers. Not an exciting title, macroeconomic research after the crisis, but yeah, it is Fed speak after all, right? Should be able to put a clamp down on that. Alright, let's have a look at a little bit of research, boys. That's enough of the market watching just here. We're going to have a look at maybe some of the interpretation of that Chinese data, just see how bad it was. And see if there's anything that we should be watching there. This is on the yuan, not so much on the weak exchange rate, it looks like. But that's definitely getting a lot of attention in Asia. Why am I short Aussie? Because it's been sold for weeks, the RCDP. I'm not a seller of Aussie by habit, that's for sure. But, yeah, I mean, I'm just selling until we find support, and then I'm looking to buy. I suspect we're going to hold the bigger 74.50, 77.50 range, but I'm in no hurry to buy here. Let's see who's in play in the next when they say this. Politics matter hugely. Clinton wins. Dollar should strengthen into 2017. French-German elections next year could put pressure on the euro. Yada yada yada. Yeah, I suppose some opinion polls might still show Trump having a chance to win, and that's going to create uncertainty. Let's just see. I mean, it would surprise me if he can remain in touching distance, but you never know. He's made it this far. Why has the dollar yen fallen back? We just talked about that, Hungry. Jesus, man. Fell back so we could buy it. Nah, it fell back because of the yield change after the Chinese trade balance showed weak global growth in the exports. That's the main reason for the pullback. But US usually doesn't run with that Chinese story, so we may be able to get a resumption here of the rally. Might just put a little stop in though. I don't want to be mucking around if we don't get that. Impact of a victory. Jesus, I don't even want to read that. I don't even want to read that. If it looks like a serious situation, I'll go back and read that later. Alright, here we go. Got a little bit on gold. FOMC minutes last night were pretty hawkish, guys. I would categorize that as pretty hawkish. I think the takeaway from there is that they're trying to lay the foundation for the December rate hike. So that's the way I'd be playing that. Alright, rally should be short-lived. Recommend being vigilant, keeping a lookout at the 1250 support. Drop below this, suggest the 1228, 1214, and then 1200. Resistance 1276. Alright. Yeah, so you might have heard, if you're in Australia anyway, coal's been going crazy. Going cray. It is up 200%, up 260% since the end of May. Now, we're a big coal exporter here in Australia. So at some point, that's probably going to help, right? But right now, the market's not focused on that. Yeah, it's not focused on oil, really, for the Canadian dollar either. So, what's the main thing? Yields argue further decline. That's US yields versus Eurozone yields. Femish dollar risk aversion on the rise. It makes it a little dangerous. Sideways trading. Occasional squeeze, but lows not yet in place. Yeah. Call surge battles US dollar. Kiwi still on track for the 69.50, which is the 200-day moving average. Yeah. I think post RBNZ cut, if they do cut, we're going to be buying in November. That's the way I like to look at that pair. And Aussie Kiwi, if bulk of that move is done. So yeah, I wouldn't be buying Aussie Kiwi above 108. That would be dangerous in my mind, even though it looks like it's a break up technically. Okay. Yeah, it's a pretty big rally, but look at this nut stuff going on here. I suppose it's just extremely volatile commodity. Maybe we should get into trading coal. I wonder what the spread on that is. Probably $1, $2 a ton. Yeah, I'm not in any mood to cover the dollar Mexican, Dave West. I mean, look, you need to stop just because you're in low, but doesn't mean you're not getting in again. Right, so if you get stopped out, just look to go in again. Inflation to downside, blah blah blah. They're looking to sell dollar CAD, but only through to 130 because I don't see it moving much below while the December Fed hike is on the car. Alright, Euro. So this US 2-year yield gets talked about a lot. You need to keep an eye on that sort of thing. And there is an increasing difference. Looks like it's down to minus 1.3% at the moment. And there should be a follow through. This is similar to what was going on with the Aussie Kiwi. Generally, this leads, this follows. So we're seeing that yield difference start to be compressed already in Aussie Kiwi. Should see it continue to follow through here on the euro while it remains in place, yeah. Alright, but the positioning of the pound is getting crazy. That's true. Had that little short squeeze and renewed selling. Like, there is some merit to the fact that if the market's fully short already, it's hard to get shorter. But I don't know, that's not the biggest reason that I would want to buy something. I'd want to buy on a fundamental, or like a headline that made sense to me that's worth 500 points and get in when it's only gone up 200 points. So we will look out for that. New Zealand dollar targeting down there, KK. Yeah, I mean, the Kiwi just moves aggressively, right? It's just taking out the people who are stuck long. It might overshoot. Whatever it does, though, we're probably looking to buy. It's hard to see the economy falling down. If the economy is strong and the makes it harder for them to cut the second time, and if they price out the second time, then this market just continue to rally. The RBNZ has to cut and remain dovish for this to get a sustained sell-off. Even then, 66, 65 is about the lowest you can get, I think. So it's not a bad little pair that, with such high yield and high swap, it's not a bad little pair to play against anything. Not just against the US dollar, but against whatever you want. Like Kiwi yen will be a good trade at some point too. Oh, not bad little report there by Westpac. We'll remember that for next time. That's some good stuff. We haven't read the early morning read for a while from Deutsche Bank. I don't know if they've got it though. We'll watch one more, guys, and then that might be enough for today. Tomorrow will be a more exciting one as we gear up for the retail sales and the Yellen speech and the Carney speech. Today is a little bit... I mean, look, the market's still moving, breaking some key levels, but it's... we're sort of just watching trades develop rather than entering new trades right now. Which is what a lot of trading is about, letting trades run. But not the most exciting times to give an update. We're making more money. That's not a very good update. We'll see how we go. Keep an eye on this dollar yen. It's a cheeky little bugger from way back. Sterling bears don't have much to fear from the Bank of England. I think we had a little look at this before. Yeah, no, they're not going to help. Ooh, nice little bounce here. What's going on? What is going on there? Oh, keep an eye on this, guys. Keep an eye on this. The euro is not dead yet, it looks like. Deutsche Bank said to implement hiring freeze amid cost cuts. I don't think that would do it. Maybe. It was 8 minutes ago. Nah, I think it's just a little bit of a short squeeze back above that 110 level. Pound's not too bad either though. We'll see. Could give us a good opportunity to sell into some of these pairs. So that plays out. And we'll finish with important point here brought up by Rabobank about the inflation that UK is going to start to import now. So yeah, it looks like there's some sort of fight going on between Unilever and Tesco. They want a 10% increase in prices. That's interesting. I mean, look, this sort of imported inflation, if it comes through in the data, is going to make it a lot harder for the Bank of England to cut rates and to keep on stimulating the economy. And, you know, we could see a really sharp snapback here in the pound at some point, say next year or even, you know, later this year, if the inflation data is super strong, right? Like over 1% month-on-month change would be super strong. You can't really drop your currency as fast as they have. Down 15% against US dollar and not have that inflation start to creep in, and then also it takes a little bit of time for inflation to come through when it's coming from imported inflation because you've got contracts. Now, as those contracts roll over, the new prices are tagged in, and those new prices are based upon the current rate, right? And, you know, you might see sharp increases in some of the consumables. And also, you know, anything which is imported, which is a lot of technicals. obviously technology is important. So yeah, I mean, it's an important part of the whole UK Brexit story is what happens with inflation. So keep an eye on that. You know, the Bank of England is an inflation fighting central bank as well, so that's very important for them. They can't ignore that. Alright guys, well good luck with your trades today. If you have any questions, you let me know. I will have a look at the pairs for you. Hope you're all making money. See how we plays out today. I'll be back tomorrow at 9 GMT. We'll have a little preparation for the US retail sales. Hopefully a little bit more information about exactly what Carney and Yellen are speaking about, if there's any heads up there. Alright guys, trade safe.